More than 4,500 years ago, deep within the heart of the Egyptian desert, a monument rose that would challenge the limits of time itself. No cranes, no steel, no machines. Yet somehow, the ancient Egyptians managed to lift and place millions of massive stone blocks, each weighing several tons, with a precision that still defies comprehension. Was it ingenious engineering, hidden ramps and lost techniques? Or could there have been something far stranger, something beyond human understanding? Today, we journey into one of history's greatest riddles. How were the pyramids of Egypt truly built? Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Ancient Dilemma, where every mystery of the ancient world finds its voice again. To uncover the truth, we must travel back more than 4 millennia to the age of Egypt's Old Kingdom, a time when pharaohs were not merely rulers, but gods made flesh. For them, death was never the end. It was a sacred passage into eternity, and the pyramid was their bridge between worlds. Around 2600 BC, during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, Egypt embarked on an undertaking so ambitious it would echo through time. The construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. This was far more than a tomb. It was a cosmic symbol, a statement of divine power, faith, and the genius of an entire civilization. Imagine this, a structure rising nearly 480 feet into the sky, roughly the height of a 50-story building, built from over 2.3 million stone blocks. Together, they weighed around 6.5 million tons. Each block averaged 2 to 3 tons, while some granite stones inside the pyramid tipped the scales at over 80,000 pounds. If every stone were placed end to end, they'd form a wall stretching from Cairo to Rome. And yet, this monumental project was completed in only about 20 years. That means, on average, the Egyptians shaped, moved, and placed roughly 300 blocks every single day. Even by today's standards, that is almost unbelievable. The Great Pyramid's perfection is equally astounding. Its 4 sides align almost flawlessly with the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, with an error margin of less than 1/3 of a degree. The base forms a near-perfect square, each side 755 feet long, with differences measured in mere inches, and the stones fit so tightly that even a razor blade can barely slip between them. So the question remains, how did a civilization with no metal cranes, no wheels strong enough for heavy loads, and no modern machinery achieve such precision? The answer lies not just in their engineering, but in their beliefs. To the ancient Egyptians, building a pyramid was not an act of labor, it was an act of worship. Khufu was the living embodiment of Horus on earth, and constructing his pyramid meant securing the eternal balance of the cosmos. The entire kingdom joined this divine mission. From skilled artisans and architects to farmers who worked seasonally when the Nile flooded, tens of thousands came together for one purpose: to raise a monument worthy of the gods. Modern archaeology even reveals villages near Giza built specifically for these workers, with bakeries, kitchens, and cemeteries honoring those who gave their lives for this sacred cause. This was not a project of suffering or slavery. It was a national endeavor, a collective dream that forged the most enduring structure in human history. When the Great Pyramid rose, the world was still young. Much of Europe was a patchwork of villages. China was entering its Bronze Age. Yet in Egypt, the tallest structure on earth stood as a beacon of divine power. It would hold that title for nearly 3,800 years, until the construction of England's Lincoln Cathedral in the 14th century, a wonder born of faith, unity, and an unshakable belief in eternity. Who really built the pyramids? The truth about the workers of ancient Egypt. For centuries, one of the most persistent myths surrounding Egypt's pyramids has been the story of slaves. The image is familiar. Endless rows of men in chains, whipped beneath the burning desert sun as they dragged colossal blocks across the sand. It's a vision etched deep into our imagination by movies, books, and legends. But what if that story is wrong? Modern archaeology has revealed a truth far more fascinating and far more human. The pyramid builders were not slaves at all. They were a proud, organized, and well-cared-for workforce, citizens who saw their labor as a sacred duty. The myth of slavery likely originated centuries later, shaped by ancient writings and religious texts. But excavations at Giza have completely changed that narrative. In 1990, archaeologists unearthed a vast workers' village beside the Great Pyramid, complete with streets, houses, bakeries, kitchens, and even a cemetery. These were not the remnants of a prison camp. They were the remains of a functioning community, a city built for those who built eternity. Inside, archaeologists discovered that workers were well fed. Their diets included meat, fish, bread, and beer, and that they even received medical care. Skeletons showed healed fractures, proof that injured laborers were treated, not abandoned. Their graves were carefully constructed and respectfully marked, suggesting honor, not oppression. This evidence paints a new picture of ancient Egypt, one where the building of the pyramids was a national project, not forced labor, a civilization united by faith, purpose, and pride. Experts estimate that between 20,000 and 30,000 people worked on the Great Pyramid, not hundreds of thousands, as once believed. They were divided into ranks and teams, each with a specific role. Master craftsmen carved stone, surveyors and architects ensured alignment. Farmers during the Nile's flood season joined as general laborers, and overseers coordinated everything, while priests sanctified the work with rituals to maintain cosmic harmony. This structure was remarkably advanced, resembling the organization of a modern state. Every worker had a purpose, and every action carried meaning. Some teams even left behind inscriptions, names like the Friends of Khufu and the victorious crew of Menkaure. These weren't slaves marking their misery. They were proud builders, leaving behind signatures of achievement that would outlive them all. But behind this grand effort was an even more astonishing system, one that fed, housed, and managed tens of thousands of people every day. The Egyptians created an entire supply network, granaries to store grain, breweries to make beer, and massive kitchens to prepare food for the laborers. Every resource, from cattle to water, was meticulously planned. This wasn't chaos, it was civilization in motion, an empire uniting its people for one divine purpose, to build a stairway to the heavens. And perhaps that's what truly made the pyramids possible. Not alien intervention, not forgotten technology, but faith. Faith that the human spirit, bound together by belief and purpose, could reach for eternity itself. The engineering secrets of the pyramids. Once we understand who built the pyramids, a deeper question emerges. How did they move millions of massive stones across miles of desert and raise them into the sky with such flawless precision? Each block of the Great Pyramid weighed anywhere from 2 to 30 tons. The limestone was quarried nearby, but the white casing stones came from Tura, over 8 miles away. Even more astonishing, the massive granite blocks used in the inner chambers were transported from Aswan, nearly 560 miles to the south. Moving such colossal materials would be an incredible challenge, even today. So how did they do it 4,500 years ago? For generations, people imagined wild possibilities, from alien levitation to forgotten machinery. But archaeological evidence paints a picture far more brilliant and far more human. One of the most revealing clues comes from an ancient wall carving showing a colossal statue being dragged on a wooden sled. At the front of the sled, a man pours water onto the sand. For centuries, this detail was seen as a symbolic gesture until modern science uncovered its secret. Researchers at the University of Amsterdam discovered that when desert sand is slightly moistened, its grains stick together, reducing friction by up to 50%. That meant heavy stones could be dragged with half the effort, not by magic, but by clever physics. The Egyptians understood their land and its elements better than we ever imagined. They may also have used compact mud tracks or wooden planks to stabilize the sleds. At a limestone quarry in Hatnub, archaeologists uncovered a system of ramps and grooves, possibly used to pull blocks up steep slopes with the help of ropes and wooden levers. It's clear now, Egyptian builders didn't rely purely on brute strength. They combined science, engineering, and coordination to achieve the impossible. But the Nile itself was their greatest ally. At that time, an ancient branch of the river flowed near Giza, allowing boats to deliver stone directly to the construction site. In 2017, a groundbreaking discovery brought this theory to life. Archaeologists found the diary of Merer, a construction overseer from Khufu's reign, the oldest known written record of pyramid building. In his diary, Merer describes transporting limestone blocks by boat through canals leading straight to the Giza Plateau. It's a remarkable glimpse into ancient logistics, revealing that the Egyptians engineered a waterway system solely for the pyramid's construction. The stones floated down the Nile, were unloaded onto sleds, and then dragged to the site, where thousands of workers waited in perfect coordination. Imagine the sight, a fleet of boats drifting along the Nile, loaded with shining limestone under the desert sun. On shore, teams of men pull sleds in unison, chanting to keep rhythm, drums echoing across the sand. Nearby, cooks prepare food, priests perform blessings, and engineers mark the placement of each stone. The entire landscape of Giza transformed into a living machine, a symphony of human effort and divine purpose. The power of organization, the brilliance of ingenuity, the triumph of belief, all of it working together to lift millions of stones skyward, shaping one of the most enduring wonders the world has ever known. Astronomical alignments and hidden math of the Great Pyramid, transporting and stacking millions of stones, was already an unimaginable feat. But what truly turns the pyramids into an eternal riddle is their precision. Even after 4,500 years, they stand unshaken by time, earthquakes, and sandstorms, perfectly aligned, almost defying the natural world itself. The Great Pyramid's sides face true north, south, east, and west, with an error margin smaller than half a degree. A level of accuracy modern tools would struggle to match. How could a civilization without compasses or telescopes achieve such perfection? The answer may lie in the stars. The ancient Egyptians were master astronomers. Many scholars believe they aligned the pyramids using the stars of Orion's belt and the pole star of their era. To them, Orion represented Osiris, the god of the afterlife, and the pyramids were more than tombs. They were celestial gateways, portals through which the pharaoh's soul could ascend and join the gods in eternity. When viewed from above, the three main pyramids of Giza mirror the pattern of Orion's belt, as if Egypt itself was designed to reflect the heavens upon the earth. It wasn't just architecture, it was cosmic geometry, a conversation between man and the stars. But the mystery deepens further within the numbers. If you take the perimeter of the Great Pyramid's base and divide it by its original height, you get a value astonishingly close to 2 pi, the mathematical constant used to calculate a circle's circumference. This means the builders somehow encoded the relationship between the circle and the square, heaven and earth, thousands of years before the concept of pi was even recorded. The slope of the pyramid's faces, about 51.5 degrees, also expresses a ratio close to the golden ratio, 1.618, a number that appears throughout nature, art, and sacred design. Was it coincidence? Or could the Egyptians have grasped a universal truth, harmony hidden in proportion? Even the outer casing stones, once polished to gleaming perfection, fit together so tightly that not even a sheet of paper could slip between them. And remember, these people worked with copper tools, wooden sleds, and stone hammers. No steel, no machines, only vision, patience, and precision beyond comprehension. Inside, the engineering is even more breathtaking. Granite blocks weighing up to 80,000 pounds form the king's chamber, stacked with flawless balance, held together without mortar. Above it, relieving chambers distribute millions of tons of weight, protecting the passage below. The entire structure is designed like a living organism, its layers interlocked in patterns that absorb and redirect stress. That's why, while empires have risen and fallen, the pyramids endure, unbroken, eternal. Some say it's all mathematics and planning. Others whisper of lost knowledge, even contact with something greater than ourselves. Whatever the truth, one thing is undeniable. The pyramids are proof of humanity's boundless potential. They remind us that belief, unity, and imagination can build what reason alone might call impossible. For over 45 centuries, they have watched the desert change and the world evolve. They are not just monuments. They are messages, carved in stone, from a people who refuse to be forgotten. Perhaps that is their greatest secret of all, because long after names fade and empires crumble, the pyramids remain, a silent challenge to time itself. If you're fascinated by the mysteries of our ancient world, join our community by subscribing to Ancient Dilemma. Together, we'll uncover the secrets that history tried to bury. Thank you for watching.